Thank you for joining Joy Ministries with Pastor Christopher Hale. Sundays at 6 p.m. on LICMC Radio.
You can also listen and see Joy Ministries live simultaneously with Pastor Christopher Hale on London, Washington Facebook, LICMC Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LICMC.net radio every Sunday at 6 p.m.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dorothea Johnson Hood, and I will be hosting today's podcast as our CEO and our president of Luther LLC is on a much needed vacation. Let's send prayers and safe travels to them as they travel to New Orleans on this Father's Day. This is especially exciting for me because this is the first time I'm able to do it by myself, and then it's especially exciting because today is Father's Day. I want to take the time out to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the stepfathers, the grandfathers, the godfathers, and if you're just a father figure, happy Father's Day. We do know that sometimes fathers are not noted or not recognized for all that they do, but today is going to be a special day. Today is going to be special because I will be acknowledging a lot of fathers and those that I know. I'm talking about a couple of those fathers that have done some extremely well grounded work with their children. But I first want to say Happy Heavenly Father's Day to my father. It makes 11 years that he has left me and my 5 sisters here with my mom. And man, I tell you, Father's Day is never going to be the same. I truly miss him. I miss him laughing. I miss the conversations that we would always have together. He's just something special and quiet man, but when he opened his mouth, it was worth $1 million. I also want to do a special Father's Day to my husband. May he rest in peace. He passed away last year, and I just want to say Happy Father's Day to him, as he was a father of one, but he truly loved his daughter. I couldn't take that from him. So as well as my son, he embraced my son and my grandchildren as if they were his. So happy Heavenly Father's Day to you as well. Then I want to say to my son's father, may he rest in heaven as well. Happy Father's Day to you, James Sr., as James Jr. is doing extremely well here on earth. He truly misses you without words. But I want to say to Mr. Isaac Hood Sr., Happy Father's Day to you, because you did a wonderful job of raising Isaac Hood Jr., who is my husband. And when he passed away, you truly embraced me and have not stopped being that father that I no longer have. So he calls me, he checks on me, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I also want to give just so many shout outs to fathers, because it's like when you really start talking to people and getting to know these people, you get to find out that there are really some great fathers out there that have not been recognized for all that they do and what they're doing. I first got to give, I want to give a shout out to my pastor, Reverend Robert Smith Jr., who's a father to all. He does not discriminate. He loves all the children, and he embraces all the children. And I just tell you, like when he sees children or teenagers or whoever, young people in church and in the word, he embraces them, and he does not show, again, any favoritism. He just loves to father and to pass on that good word of wisdom for us to understand why it's important to be such a good parent to our children, and why a father is important in our children's lives. So I just want to give a shout out to him, to my CEO. Man, I tell you, when I met your children, they were outstanding. Just, I'm talking about well mannered. Just, I mean, just they were just, and they're still great kids, mannerable, love church. And I just want to tell you, Alonzo, keep doing what you're doing with the kids. But not only that, you got Minister Hale, that's a godfather of the children, so you can't miss nothing. He's truly a man of God. Well, who's dear to my heart is my own son, who's a father of 3 boys, and to watch him interact with those boys is something different. And sometimes I think he's a little too hard on them, and then he reminds me of things that he got away with that I didn't know he got away with. So those are things that you find out with your kids. They tell you when they get a little older, hey, did you know I did this? Well, they're older now, so you can't kick up dust and fuss because they made it out successfully without any hurt or harm or danger. But a shout out to my son for being such an excellent father. And to my sister, always call and tell her happy Father's Day. She recently lost her son, and she raised him to be such a manable young man. And so I every year I would call her and tell her happy Father's Day, because you exemplify what a woman can be and what she can do without a father figure in the life of a child. And so I want to give a shout out to her. Her name is Kimberly Johnson Lockett. And again, she just recently lost her oldest son at age of 42 as he battled cancer. And it tore the whole entire family apart, as being the oldest nephew and the oldest grandson. So as I move along in this podcast, I'm going to be giving a lot of shout outs and the different fathers and stuff. Those that I remember along the way, those who have helped, those who made a significant difference in lives of people in the community. So I first want to say I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this gentleman. I work at the VA hospital, and so I had the pleasure of meeting a Mr. Diaz doing my training. And so he trained me for 2 weeks, and he just such a perfect gentleman. He would always say, "Miss Johnson, you okay? Can you see what I'm doing? Do you need a little bit more time? Do you need us to slow up?" And I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And so we were talking one day, and he was talking to the class, and he talked about being a single parent to his daughter. And so in listening to him, he talked so passionately about his daughter and how she was graduating from high school and how she got accepted into college and everything. And I just was just blown away just to hear that he began to be a single parent when his child was in elementary school, and how he told me he changed his schedule to make sure that everything worked for her and not so much for him, and how he sacrificed so many different things. And so, as mothers, we know how to do that. We know how to sacrifice. We know how to give. We know how to take. We know how to, to make sure the babies are okay. We know how to say, hey, okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to rearrange my schedule. But let me tell you, take time to learn what men actually do in their children's lives, and you will find out that they're just as capable as a woman when it is necessary to be. And so Mr. Diaz, as we were talking, again, his daughters, graduated with, good honors and things like that. So I saw him the other day, and I said, oh, Mr. Diaz, I haven't seen you since I started the VA. I said, how's your daughter doing? And he said, oh, she's doing fine. She's in Japan. And I was like, Japan? And I was like, oh my God, how long will she be there? And he said, well, she'll be there for 2 months. And so we kind of laughed about it. And he said, gives me a little break. I can save a little money in my pocket because she's over in Japan. But what I said to him in that was that the prayer and the prayers that I'm sure you got on your knees every night and prayed and asked God to keep his loving arms around your daughter and to protect her. I said that within itself speaks so much volume. I was proud of him. I'm like, as if she was my daughter. I was peacock proud. I'm like, Mr. Diaz, I need to hear more about this story. So I needed to give him a shout out. Not because he trained me so well, but because he's been a single parent carrying a torch as a man, and he never once complained. When I asked him, did you ever get tired? He said, if I did, I didn't recognize I was tired because my goal was to make sure that my daughter got out of high school and she was successful. And so now I can be a little tired, but when she was going through high school, middle school, and elementary school, he said I didn't have time to be tired. He said all I could do, Miss Dorothea, is focus on her and making sure she had everything she needed. I, I was blown away because he wasn't bragging about it. He was talking as if he was a mother. As we know, and if you listen to it, we know mothers, we know how we are. Listen, I'm making sure my child get out of high school. I'm making sure they go to college. You know what? And then we go and we tell the dad, the husbands, or whoever it is, hey, uh, Johnny Smith needs this. I need to make sure this is done. Or, yeah, I took care of this because Johnny needed this. But no, that's not what's happening in his household, is that he took full charge as a mother and as a father. And he never once said, I regret the day that I became a single parent. He said, I love it. He said, I love it. Whatever she needs, I have. Whatever she wants, she can get it. So I say to Mr. Diaz at the VA hospital in Detroit, Michigan, congratulations on the success of your daughter being in Japan for 2 months. And happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. So as we move on and we talk about fathers and we talk about, this special day, again, we often forget how special this day is. And I tell you, story, about my dad is that having 6 girls is kind of hard. And I'm sure there's people that have more than 6 girls, but my dad was a stern man and he never wavered from what he believed in. And what he believed in is that if he told one of us no, then all the rest of us he told no. He didn't say yes to me and no to my other sisters. It was no straight across the board. He didn't care. You like him or don't like him. And one of his favorite sayings is, if you don't like my smoke, get your own smoke. And so when we were young, we were like, get your own smoke? What are you talking about? We don't smoke cigarettes. We don't smoke. What are you talking about? Get your own smoke. But as you get older, you realize, oh, if you don't like what he's saying, then you can go get your own address. But not to say get out, but to say, listen, I'm trying to protect you from all hurt, harm, and danger. But if you don't want that, I can't stop you from wanting to leave. But I'm telling you, I want to give you all the love that I can give, and I want to show you just how a man shows to treat you. And so I thank my dad for that. I just so many great memories of him. And when he thought it was time for me to get married, he gave me this long speech sitting on the porch, and he said, "Listen, I think it's time for you to settle down. I think you need to settle down, and it's time for you to get married." And I said, "Who, me?" I was like, "You think so, Daddy?" And he said, "I know so." So when he said it, it made me reflect back on life and things that I had been through. And I had forgotten that I had prayed and asked God to bless me with a husband, but prepare me mentally and physically for a husband. And so sometimes we forget we just want a husband just to say we're married, but you got to pray the ultimate prayer. And the ultimate prayer is that, Lord, prepare me mentally and physically for my husband so that he can be a good husband to me and a great father to our children. And in the process of my dad saying that, I met such a wonderful guy who embraced my son and embraced my grandchildren. And I said to him, "Listen, you only have one daughter. She's young. My son is married, and he's already started a family. I don't know if you want to get involved in that." And he said, "Oh, okay, it'd be nice to meet him." And I said, "No, I'm serious." And he said, "I'm serious too. It'd be nice to meet him." And when I tell you that he embraced my son and my grandchildren as if they were his. He didn't question the ability of me being a grandmother or my son or his wife being parents. What he did was he said to my grandkids is that you will finish school and you will graduate and go to college. And that was something that he instilled in them. And that was a conversation he often had with them. And when he left, this earthly place, he took away a lot of secrets that we have yet to know that my grandkids sat and talked with him about. That spoke volume to me because that told me that he was not just a good parent, but he was an excellent man, an excellent father. So I just want to tell him, in heaven, thank you. I thank you for what you've done. So I said in our segment that I'm excited about this Men's Day, or I should say Father's Day. I call it Men's Day, but it's Father's Day. 2025. So many things have happened. So many things are going on, and in our lives. And as a young kid say, we just living the life that we're living. Um, it's hard for our young men out here, and we got to keep them prayed up and stayed up. You gotta if you know someone that's a young father, extend your hand out. Tell them, hey, I'm praying for you. Is it something you need? Well, what can I do to help you? Because sometimes we forget that, and we've gone so far fetch into our own lives that we forget that we're a community. And when you're a community, you need to help those that are in your community. So please remember that. Please remember that. I cannot go any further without saying, hey, y'all, next Sunday, we will be at Carter Metropolitan having our wonderful Joy Ministry day at 3:00. So 3:00, you're gonna come and eat. We're gonna start service at 4:00. There will be a food truck that's gonna be out. And you can, if you're hungry, you can stop by. The food truck has plenty of different kind of foods that you can eat. I know that when we first started this Joy Ministry on the fourth Sundays, we were feeding the group and making sure, like, if you came, you got a free meal, but as we grow and we grow in ministry, we understand and we say, hey, wouldn't it be better if we had a food truck that would be out that could serve the people and they have a variety of food rather than just serving a one main course meal? Not familiar, I don't know the price of the food that's on a food truck, but from my understanding is that they're not, excuse me, it's not expensive. So if you come next Sunday, 3:00, or if you come before 3:00, know that the food truck will be out there and be all set up so you can sit out there and you can eat and enjoy a meal before you come in and have some good old joy. And that's next Sunday, fourth Sunday. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that we will not be doing it in July. And Minister Hale will. Thank you for putting that up for me. I appreciate that. Minister Hale will kill me if I'm wrong, but I know that it is the fourth Sunday, and then we will not have it in July. I thank you so much. Well, come worship with us. Please come worship with us. I am not a member of Carter Metropolitan, but I am a member of New Bethel Baptist Church. And Minister Hill and I are very, very good friends. He used to be the choir director when I was a teenager in the choir. That's how far we go back. And then I had an opportunity to meet the CEO, Alonzo. Oh my God, that was the best ever, because the first day we met, he literally had tears in my eyes. I was crying so badly. And Chris, I should say, had no idea what we were talking about, and he was just agreeing. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's right. And when he found out what we were crying, laughing about, I can't believe y'all sat here and did this to me. But that's how you know that three people that are called by God should be together, because we hit it off. I'm talking about immediately, and we are still in a running to make Joy Night a great night. But not only having Joy Night a great night, but which will be in August, and we'll have it the fourth Sunday in August also at Carter. But every fourth Sunday, we look forward to seeing you so that we can express how joyful we are in our hearts to see each and every last one of you. Maybe you got a story to tell. We want to hear the story. Maybe you just want to shout. We want to see you shout. Maybe you just want to sit there and enjoy the moment. However you feel, we invite you to that next fourth Sunday. Now back to my men. I met another young man, and this guy, I tell you, he's something. He is something special, something different. Mr. Walker has 9 children, and so I'm talking to him about his 9 children. If you could just see and hear the expression on his face by his kids and how proud he is of each and every last one of them. And all of them are successful. They're all doing something with their lives. They're not sitting around at home. Um, all of them are. He has an empty nest. His youngest children are in college, and they're not at home. And so he says, for the first time, it feels pretty good to have an empty nest where there's no kids, or you got to go up to the school because there's a program, or you forgot to give them some money because it's lunch, or they need something from you, or you just got to take them to school. But when I listened to him and I talked to talked to the children, and I had an opportunity to meet 5 out of 9, I got an opportunity, and that was great when I met them, and I met his grandson. So when I talked to them, their conversation was so candid about their dad and how their dad was strict because he doesn't want to see them poor and out on the street and begging someone for help. So one of the twins told me, he said, my dad just doesn't want us to have to be out there with our hand out begging. So he ruled with the iron fist. When his daughter said, no, dad was just straight out mean. He was just straight out mean. He didn't want to meet nobody's boyfriend, and he never met any of our boyfriends, and we couldn't have any boyfriends come to the house. And so 2 of the boys that I met, they chuckled about it. And they was like, oh, well, yeah, because you're a girl, that's why. But when I listened to him talk about how proud he is of his children, that meant a lot to me. And for a man to say, I have 9 children, and say it proudly, and say, I'm proud of every last one of my children. I have no regrets. God, excuse me, makes no mistakes. He said he gave me 9 children for a purpose and a reason. And he says my job as their father to make sure that I provide for them. He said, so yeah, I had to work 2 jobs, but it was okay because my kids didn't suffer for anything. They were not hungry. He said when his younger children's mother passed away, he said, okay, I'm gonna need some help. And he said when he went to apply for assistance to trying to help him out a little bit, he said he got turned down. He said, but you know what? That just made me stronger. He was like, it was okay they turned me down. He said, that just made me push harder and push my kids harder to never have to ask for anything. He is a successful Black man who I'm proud to know. I'm just proud to know him. And when I look at the children that I met and look at them and each one of them working and saying, hey, Dad, I would come, but I got to work a double. Or Dad, I'm coming, but I'm gonna be getting off work late. Just different things. It's just nice to hear young people moving along and under the direction of their father who raised them. Not with a mother, but with him by himself. That speaks volume. So those 2 persons, Mr. Diaz and Mr. Walker, I wanted to give a special shout out because I talked to them and they talked about being a single dad raising children. So as I move along, I also want to talk about just a couple of people that's at my church. Deacon Milton Hall Sr. Man, let me tell you, I used to be so scared of Milton Hall Sr. and Jr. when I was a kid. When I was 11 years old, I used to be scared because they were deacons, and I'm a Baptist. You did exactly what they said, and you didn't move. You better not move. And to know them, oh my God, to know the Halls and those boys that Deacon Hall raised became successful. But I especially wanted Dwayne Hall. So Milton, Dwayne Hall Jr., he has a printing shop called Hall Stars on Livernois. And when you go in, you only hear gospel music playing, and they greet you as soon as you open the door. Welcome to Hall Stars. And so when you go in and they greet you, the atmosphere is so spiritual and so spirit-filled. But waiting on his children, which are boys, to service me, and they always service me with a smile. So when I look at Deacon Hall Jr. and I talked to him and I said, Deacon Hall, I was so afraid of you growing up when I was 11 and 12 years old in New Bethel, and he chuckles and he laughs. And he said, were you? I said, I'm talking about afraid. But listen, not only that, but when I talked to his sons, it was like, well, you weren't the only one that was afraid of him. It's 7 of us, and he didn't play with neither one of us. Each one of those boys work in Hall Stars, and not only do they work in Hall Stars, but their children work in Hall Stars. I want to say that I appreciate them, and I appreciate them being in the community. Livernois is in a community. I don't know the name of the off street, but it's definitely on Livernois. It's called Hall Stars Printing. And if you get an opportunity that you need something printed or done, I'm telling you, please visit them. They are true Christian men working for a purpose in life. You'll never hear any bad word or anything come out their mouth, and their children are being raised the exact same way. Deacon Hall, I take my hat off to you for raising such great men in the community and giving back to the community. I'm telling you, if you ain't never had nothing printed and you never had nothing done, go to Hall Stars on Livernois. They will get it done. And if they, take the time out with you, if it take you hours, they're there. I also would like to, in our churches, a Deacon Hicken Perry. Now, Deacon Hicken Perry, he had it was called Hicken Perry and Sons Plumbing and Heating. But not only did he have a plumbing and heating, he also had a limousine service. So I'll take you back a little bit because we kind of went to school with the Perry, and the Perry boys were just different. They knew that when they got out of school, they had to come home and they had to do what they needed to do to help Dad around the house. And they had a big, beautiful home on Chicago and Linwood. And if you're familiar with Chicago and Linwood, there used to be about 5 limos that would be in the driveway. And those limos were so sharp. So not only did he have a heating and plumbing, he also had a limousine service. But he taught his boys. He taught his boys how to work and how to hustle. One does the heating and cooling, and the other one does the plumbing. And then his daughters, he's carried on the torch with the daughters, working for DTE Energy and working hard with them and being school teachers, and working in the church. Deacon Perry was one pillar that you will never forget, as well as Deacon Hall. They both were deacons at New Bethel Baptist Church, and they worked hard as deacons. They were just wonderful. I just wanted to make sure that I shouted those two out, the Halls and the Perrys, because they were just great men. And then you had the Washingtons, who passed on also the torches of great men and great fathers. They were just great fathers. But Deacon Perry did not play. If he saw you doing something wrong, he became your father. If Deacon Hall, like I told you, I was afraid of him when I was little. He became the father, and he took care of the children of New Bethel to make sure that we would raise up to be great people, whether it was men or women. He made sure that we did that. Just so many people that I could just shout out and just say thank you for being such great fathers. You've done a great job. I want to shout out my brothers-in-law, Michael Jones, who's married to my sister Sharon, Ken Lowe, Kenneth Lockett, who's married to my sister Kim, Earl Holmes, who's married to my sister Sandra. Just great men who are raising their children to be respectful and just kind-hearted people. And I'm not just saying this because they're related to me or they're my brothers-in-law. Good men who have instilled in their children to work hard. Nothing comes free. Nothing is easy. Nothing you get. If you're getting it free, know that there's something behind it. Work hard for what you want. I remember my mother used to say to us that when you get your paycheck, you want to see your name on it. not your name and somebody else's, but you want to see your name on it. And so I remember that. And so that's what my brother-in-laws have instilled in their children, as I have instilled in my own son, is that you always want your own. You never want to depend on anybody, and you don't want to be on anybody's begging list. That's for sure. So I'm gonna see if the producer could play this one particular song. She's played it, and oh my God, Chris has asked her to play it often. And it has a rap at the end. It's a song, and I just literally lost train of thought in this song. My son Chris thought enough of my son at the age of 17, or maybe younger, maybe he was 16. I'm not for sure. If he would do the rap part to the gospel song, and I just, I just was peacock proud when I heard it. But that song reminds me of my son when he first found out how much he loved the Lord, and how he felt that he needed to understand the Word of God. I'm not for sure. Melinda, I'm so sorry. I cannot even think of the song as well as I know it. You played it last Sunday as we were exiting. But however, if you could play a nice gospel song for us, thank you. Thank you so much. That was Brother Ryan who was singing with that song. And I promise I cannot remember the name of the song. That was I cannot remember the name of the song, and I can hear him singing, and Chris singing. Chris is singing on the song. But nevertheless, to say this, that God is just always in the blessing business, because Chris saw the musical talent in my son, and I didn't see that. But Chris saw it, and he saw this also in the gentleman that just was singing, Ryan Pinkston. So as men, we have to, the men of the world, they have a certain way of just putting things out there and helping. And sometimes we think that when somebody's trying to help us, a person's trying to get over, or they mean it for something else, or they're not trying to help. But what are you trying to find out about me? What are you trying to know about me? And if we just take time and allow God to enter into our lives and find out the true meaning of what this person is trying to do, we will be so much further along. And because Minister Hale did that for my son James, my son loves the sound of music. He loves to hear music, doesn't matter what kind of music it is, and he can dissect it and he'll put it together. But again, I'm a mentor. He doesn't have any. Chris doesn't have any children of his own, but he sure as heck got a whole bunch of children in the ministry of music, in the ministry of music, and then in the ministry of word. So I want to tell Minister Hill, thank you for that, because again, you saw something that in James that I never thought in a million years would come um, out of him, and it has passed on that now his son, who's graduated from high school this year, yay, glad he got out. Woo. Listen, it was a struggle, but he is now going to Full Sail University, the same college that my son went to learn music, and so that is a proud moment. That is a proud moment, and I want to say congratulations to graduates also. Let me take time for that because that's important. Father's Day is important too, but listen, it's a lot of fathers that got them kids across the stage now. So I want to say congratulations to all of the graduates of 2025, whether it's kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever it is that you've done and you were successful and you graduated, congratulations to you. And that's from the hearts of myself, Alonzo, and Chris. We are big on making sure that our children get where they need to be, and if we can help in any way, that's what we do. So I want to go back to doing a couple of shout outs to people that probably thought like, oh, she didn't. I told them to tune in and listen because I'll be giving some great shout outs to them. Travis Lockett, want to give a shout out to him. He goes to work every day and he tickles me when I see him. He has 3 boys and 1 girl. And one of the kids give him a true run for his money, and that's the youngest one. He questions his dad and his dad's ability to do what he needs to do as a father. So the other day he said, "Have a seat. You don't even know what 1 + 1 is." And he said, "2." And it was so funny the way he responded back. He was like, "Oh, okay. So then what's 2 + 2?" And he said, "4." He just graduated from kindergarten. And so I was happy because I was like, he's learning something. But not only that, his father is keeping him with him. He was not in school. So instead of letting him stay at home with his wife, he said, "Come on a ride with me and let's go ride and let's go do a couple of things." And so he took his youngest son who was not in school. That made me feel good because he's a 5-year-old that's probably nagging the mess out of him, but he did not let it bother him. So I want to say shout out to Travis Lockett for such a great job of raising your children. I want to do a shout out to Michael Jones, who has now let me see if I can remember. I think he has 2 girls and 3 boys. He has a daughter that, if I'm memory serves me correctly, who's in high school, and then the other ones are younger. They're like middle. I mean, not even middle school. Oh my God, elementary school. Just try to remember. Sorry, Michael, if I messed up, but I want to tell him shout out to you. You really work hard with making sure that your children understand each other, know each other, although they are not, all of them are not by the same mother, but you show no difference in that. You make sure that they understand that they're sisters and brothers and there's no separation. That's cool for a father, and I appreciate that. Again, Brother Alonzo and Brother Hale are not with us today. They're on a much needed vacation. They're traveling to New Orleans. Please continue to pray for them, pray for their safe return back to Detroit. We'll pray that they make it to New Orleans and not have too much fun and stay longer than what they should. Because next Sunday, I need y'all back here in Detroit. We got something going on at Carter Metropolitan next Sunday, 4th Sunday. I cannot mention that enough. I'm excited. It's called Joy Ministry. We do it every fourth Sunday. We will not have one in July, but we will have our Joy Ministry third year anniversary, the fourth Sunday in August at Carter. So next Sunday we will be at Carter. Um, there will be a food truck out. If you are interested in getting food, maybe you're leaving from one service and want to come over to our service, but you don't want to stop and get anything to eat. You want to hurry up and get to Carter. We got a food truck out there that's serving all different kind of food. And the prices, from my understanding, are very reasonable. And there's seating accommodations as well. Again, we've been doing this since January of feeding people. And like I said, we started off making sure that, we fed everybody. And it was cold months. So January, February, March, we made sure that we fed our the people that were coming, the people that wanted to come. We wanted to make sure that you ate inside. But now that the weather has broken, it's beautiful outside. God has allowed us to have beautiful days. We now have a food truck that's out, and again, a variety of different foods. You can come eat, listen, get relaxed, and then come into the church and get your praise on. If you got a testimony, you can do your testimony. Tell us about how good God is. If you want to shout and shout out your shoes, you can do that too. If you need prayer, we got, listen, when they say it's time for prayer, you can go down and have prayer. If there's a special prayer you need, we're there to make sure that you have a wonderful day, a joyful day, and that you are fed the word of God. So that's what this podcast is about, is that we understand the word of God. God has given us so much, and we feel like, that things are being taken from us. But what I've learned in my trial and in my tribulations is that God does his best work when you're in a valley. Sometimes I feel like I'm deep in a valley and I want to come out, but he's not done with me. I had to learn that from my own son, who told me that you are in a valley because God is not done fixing you. He said, so it looks like it's a long time that you've been in the valley. And I said, I've been in the valley a long time. He said, because he's fixing you for what's greater to come. And if he doesn't fix you for what's greater to come, you're going to mess up. And I looked at him, I said, what you mean? And he said, you're going to mess up. He said, so you got to stay in the valley for a little while longer, mama. He said, so that he can fix you, tune you up, work you like you're supposed to be worked. You understand that when you come out the valley, you ain't going to look like you've been in the valley. So you won't mess up what's next for you. I'm looking forward to the next level. I'm looking forward. And if God has me in the valley for his own personal reasons, and I keep trying to come out and I keep sliding back down in the valley, I'm going to stay there until he knows that I'm ready to accept the challenge that he's putting before me. And losing your husband and not knowing, and it was unexpectedly, sometimes you just be wandering around in the world, just like you just definitely be in the valley, like I don't even know where I'm going. And one day you'll wake up and you'll say, I understand my purpose. So I'm getting there. I'm not hurting as bad as I was before, because I was hurting because I missed him so much and I could not understand why God took him from me. But God needed him most, and he needed him in his vineyard because he truly was a God-fearing man, and he spreaded all kind of love to anybody he touched. He was it's a difference between a father and a daddy. Anybody can, hey dad, or your daddy. But when you become a father to your children or to anybody, that's great. Because our prayer is, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So when you become a father to someone and someone says, that's my father, that's my father, that's my daddy, that's hey, then you've done a whole lot. You spoke something and you made a difference. My pastor preached today, and he said everybody feels like if a father's not in the house, you don't got a father or your daddy. He said, but the greatest thing that your father could have ever gave you was his last name. He said, because he didn't have to give you his last name, but he let you know that I'm here, even when you think I'm not. So I say that to say that I'm glad that I had a father that gave me his last name, who thought enough of me, because he could have said, "That's okay. I don't even know who you are. Let me throw you away." But my father kept me. And what I mean about my father is my heavenly father kept me. And he gave me his name. He said, "You can call on me. I'm your father, our father. I'm not just one person's father, I'm everybody's father." So when I say I'm thankful, he didn't forget me, and he thought enough of me to say, "I'm your dad." So when you think about Father's Day, think about what it means to be a father. When you think about Father's Day, think about your dad and what he's going through. Because sometimes we're, as women, we're really, really hard on a man, and we don't give him any slack. We just feel like yeah, whatever. You weren't here. You don't know. And you may not know how that man is feeling because he was not able to be there for whatever personal reasons that he was not there, or for whatever other reasons he was not there. You pray and you say, "God, help him to and heal him if he needs healing. Help him to be the man that he wants him to be, and help him to be the man that you want him to be." That is my prayer. I pray that. I said, "Lord, the next go round of me getting married, if I ever get married again, I keep saying I can't meet nobody like my first husband. I want definitely want another God-fearing man, a man that loves God, a man that understands and fear the word, not fear God, but fear the word. And that means knowing the word, understanding the word, and appreciating the word. When you know better, you do better. And sometimes we get hooked with our stripes because we know better. And until we can do better, God keeps putting us back and back and back and back and back further until we finally say, "Okay, enough is enough. I got to do better." I just wanted to say that. I'm just happy about today. I miss my dad a whole heck of a lot. I really do. Um, it's nothing like a father. I tell you, especially when you got a relationship with him. And me and my sisters, we talk about him often. And um, he was such a quiet man, and he loved cartoons and Star Trek. So those two things we knew for sure. If he was quiet, Star Trek was on, or is it Longhorn, whatever, the big rooster, he would crack up laughing. And cowboy movies. So those are some things that we knew about our dad that he loved, and he didn't want to be disturbed when he was watching Star Trek. One great thing I want to say before I leave is that my dad was a PK kid. That meant that I was a PK grandkid. Um, my dad made sure we were up every Sunday to go to church. And if we didn't go to church, he wanted to know why. We had to explain to him why we didn't go to church as adults as well. When he was a Baptist, my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, but my dad instilled in us about church and loving the word. I remember getting board games, and if the board game had dice, we couldn't play with the board game. If we had a game and it had cards, we couldn't play with the cards either. We would go over to our cousin's house, and they'd say, "Okay, we're gonna play cards, we're gonna play spades, and we're gonna play trump." And they was like, "Okay, we need a partner." And we'd be sitting, and they like, "You want to be my partner?" I'd be like, "No, we can't. My dad said we can't play cards." And they was like, "Well, what about a board game?" I said, "If it's got dice in it, we can't do that." Those are some things that we never forgotten because my dad made sure. Now, as we got to be adults, we learned how to play spades and tonk, and we played board games. But we still say to this day, we don't know how to play it well. We can kind of help you out a little bit, but we weren't taught that. And not that it was anything wrong with it in some people's eyesight, but in my dad's eyesight, he wanted the straight and narrow. We had to walk the straight and narrow. So to play board games with dice or to learn how to play cards, that was absolutely out. We could not. But again, he taught his daughters how a man should treat a wife. My mom and dad were married for 52 years before my dad passed away. So my mom was his all in all. Nobody else could take the place of my mom. So my dad is my superhero because he taught me how to treat a husband as well. How do you take care of your husband? And my dad would often say to me that watch your mom because your mom is a good girl. And I never wanted anybody else but your mother. I never wanted to marry anybody else but your mother. So I say that as I lead today is that there are so many great men out there. If I did not call your name and say congratulations and happy Father's Day and all those good things, know that it was not meant to be missed. I say happy Father's Day to each and every one of you, whether you are a male or female. If you played the role of a father, then happy Father's Day. If you had to step in to be a father, happy Father's Day. If you just are just straight out a father like Mr. Diaz and Mr. Walker, I salute you and say happy Father's Day to you as well. If you're a grandpa or granddad and you had to step in because the dad passed away or the dad just didn't show up, happy Father's Day to you because you did your job, you did your duty, and you did what God called you to do. Again, as I say, don't forget, we are at Carter Carter Metropolitan next Sunday, 4th Sunday, 3 o'clock. The food trucks will be out there. They probably will be out there before 3, but you are more than welcome to come. And then at 4 o'clock, we're gonna show up and show out. I thank you and God bless you. Again, please pray for Minister Hale and Alonzo as their safe travels to New Orleans and they travel back. I missed them already. They didn't take me with them. They said I couldn't go. I had to stay home. And so that's okay because I left them and I went to New York. But pray for them. Alonzo, happy Father's Day to you. Great job with raising the children, as well as Minister Hale. Congratulations to you for being such a great godfather to the children and to all other children that you raised and nurtured into the ministry of music. That's something big and something noble. Got a couple of more minutes. I'm just trying to figure out what else I gotta say because this is my time. Hey. Oh, New Bethel. We will be having our Men's Day, July the 13th at 10 a.m. The Dr. Kirk Goodlove will be there. He'll be our speaker. And then that Saturday, which is the July the 12th, we'll do water witnessing on the streets of Linwood. We'll be passing out water, praying for the lost souls. And the 9th, 10th, and 11th of July, which is leading up to those two things, is that we'll have revival every night at 7 p.m. Come out and enjoy our revival. Pastor will be singing Bow Down. I got a mind to live for Jesus. We just got a great lineup. So the 9th, 10th, and 11th, that's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of July, we will have our revival, which is Men's Day revival. On the 12th, we will have water witnessing on Linwood, and that's at 1 o'clock. If I didn't mention that the revival is 7 p.m. nightly. Then on the 13th, we will have our annual Men's Day, and that will be at 10 a.m. And we will have Dr. Kirk Goodlove, who will be there, and he will be the speaker. I'm excited. We have Dr. Maurice Henderson, who's the chairperson. And if you never heard of Dr. Maurice Henderson, look him up. He's a dentist, and I tell you, painless, definitely painless. And he is a pillar of our community. So I hope that you guys can take time out to at least come out to one of our revivals on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, the 9th, 10th, 11th of July. And then July the 12th will be water witnessing, where we will be on the streets of Linwood passing out water, praying. And I'm not for sure if they're going to have a fish fry because last year they gave out free fish. So I will make sure I find all that information out on next Sunday and pass it on to you guys. I thank you for taking the time to listen. And again, happy Father's Day to all of you, and especially to my son and my brother-in-laws. Happy Father's Days to you and my nephews as well. But those two gentlemen that I mentioned, Mr. Diaz and Mr. Walker, Job well done. Continue to do great work in the community. Your children have proven that your work is not done in vain. Your ministry to them, meaning the fussing that you did every day, or the scolding that you did not go in vain. Again, congratulations on all the success of your children. Thank you, and it has been a pleasure. I will see you next Sunday. Happy Father's Day.
Dios, Lions, is going to be elected. This is his song. Now, the young girl here from Sister Vanessa Young from Chicago singing Believe.
Thank you for joining Joy Ministries with Pastor Christopher Hale. Sundays at 6 p.m. on LICMC Radio.
You can also listen and see Joy Ministries live simultaneously with Pastor Christopher Hale on London, Washington Facebook, LICMC Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LICMC.net radio every Sunday at 6 p.m.